Hello, hello, hello. Welcome one, welcome all, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome one, welcome all to the Villain Report. I am the host. I am the 313 Villain. That's right. I am the unwanted, the unfiltered, the unapologetic voice of the fan base that bleeds Honolulu blue. And the villain is taking his medicine today. Squad. Lions drop a 31-24 heartbreaker. Packers swept us for the first time since 2020. And we ain't driving our own bus anymore. This is survival mode. We are in survival mode. We just couldn't get off the field on fourth down. Fourth down, they were 3 for 3. We were 0 for 2. We're shifting into survival mode. How is everybody holding up out there? Let me know in the comments. This episode is brought to you by fanatics.com. That's right. If you're rocking with the 313 or you bleed any of these other teams in the NFL, then you need to gear up like the real one over at Fanatics, our official merch partner. So here's what you do. You click the link in the description or you hit that QR code, save up to 25% off of your order. Every click supports the channel, the page, and lets the world know that fans of your team do it bigger. They do it better. Villain Squad don't do knockoffs. We do official. We do fanatic. So get yours. The Villain Squad just crossed over 96,000 villains. We are on our way to 100,000 on the Facebook. Climbing fast. Help us storm the castle of 100,000 followers on Facebook, on YouTube, on X, TikTok, wherever you scroll, the Villain rolls. Connect with me on all platforms and be part of the takeover, because it's faith, family, and then football in that order. We use football. Spend time with your family. Create some memories. Don't let football use you. Don't let it change you when you lose like we lost. How are you feeling out there? Have you processed it yet? Has it went through? What's your biggest bitches? What is going on out there? How are you feeling about it? As I go through here, and I wanted to go through the slate, show you all of the great stuff that happened as the Lions drop it 31-24. And I know that the Bears game is going on in the background right here. I am paying attention to that, trying to get it up, trying to get it going here. Let me get it up in the background. And right now they're in a tight one. It becomes, like I said, it becomes where we are not in control of our own destiny. One of the things that I was saying last week is the beautiful thing is we were in control of our own destiny, because we didn't have to depend on anybody else to win or to lose. We could just go and take care of our own business and we could be into the playoffs. But right now, we don't have control. But let's go through this. Let's look at it right there. Total yards. I mean, it was a pretty even game all the way through. I see a lot of people that are out there that I believe are overreacting to the loss. I don't blame people for overreacting to the loss because of where it puts us in the standings and how we got to fight back. But I don't understand the overreaction to the loss as like it was just this game where we got beat down the whole time. I mean, it was a really, really good game. And honestly, it comes down to the fourth downs. It comes to those critical moments. And that's one of the things we're going to talk about in here. Trim Reaper, he says, do you know what happens to people who watch the Villain Squad and don't hit the like and subscribe button? Do you?
You just made the list!
Don't be that guy. Don't get on the list for that. Thank you, Trim. What's up, David?
You like that?
What's up, David? What's up, Becca?
You like that?
Becca said she likes me because I try to take the most positive outlook on this. What's up?
You like that?
To you. They weren't at Lambeau.
You like that?
That's right. I know. We were at home. Did I say that we were at Lambeau? Maybe did I typo that somewhere? My bad. Louisiana's in the house, says go Lions.
That?
Charles says that he still believes.
You like that?
So, yeah, I'm one of I'm dumb and dumber, you know? I'm dumb and dumber. I'm saying, so you're saying there's a chance. Now, as far as winning the division, I don't think there's much of a chance. The Packers took control, to me, of the division. They're still behind the Bears. They're watching the Bears right now. They're hoping that the Bears lose so they can take over first place. And the Lions are hoping that the Bears lose too, because what we need is the Bears to be a game away from us, because that actually puts us back into a little bit more control of our own destiny. And it actually does give us a chance to win the division if the Bears can take care of business against the Packers. So there's a big gaggle of people. So I overreacted last night thinking, gosh, we need to win all of our games afterwards. But if we won all of our games, that would put us at 12 wins. That would most likely get us. I can't see any team missing the playoffs at 12 wins or even 11 wins. I can't see a team that wins 11 games that wouldn't make the playoffs. That would be unprecedented. And it's even possible that somebody is going to get in at 10 wins. The last wild card spot usually is a 10-win team. Sometimes it's a 9-win team, but usually a 10-win team. So you need to go at least 3-2, if not 4-1, to get into the playoffs. So that's the reality of what's going on right now. And Steve, congratulations, man. I'm not going to hide behind anything when it comes to this loss. Green Bay came into Detroit, and I mean, we'll talk about the calls and everything like that, but there was nothing on the calls that I could really say was completely devastating. I mean, even if we got both of the calls that we would be complaining about, it still comes down to you got to execute on the fourth down. And on the biggest plays of the games, you got to be able to step up. I thought that the offense played decent. The offense was all right. I think that it was the defense and not being able to get Jordan Love off of the field is what lost the game. 3 fourth downs. 2 of the fourth downs that they got were touchdowns. Okay? You're talking about monumental plays that were, that changed the game. Those were game-changing plays. Any one of those fourth downs go the other way, then you might be talking about a completely different game. That's how close the game was. I mean, the last play of the game was a fourth down. I mean, think of the implications on that last play had Jordan Love not completed that last pass. They would have given us the ball at midfield, and the Lions were moving the ball on the Green Bay Packers. So any one of those plays. So, I mean, this is a good Packer team. Now, that doesn't change the fact that you still got to fight uphill for the rest of the season. And that you got to put yourself in a position to where you can have control of your own destiny again. But don't get it twisted. Green Bay's a really, really good team, and you fought Green Bay tooth and nail all the way down to the end, and you didn't execute. 3 for 3 on fourth downs for the Green Bay Packers and 0 for 2 for the Lions. To me, I can bottle the whole story up right there. But I'll go over the rest of the stats with you guys because that's what we do on this program. So let me get these let me get some of these up. Image. Let's look at these. The game leaders. Yeah, we'll look at there. The main game leaders right there. Jordan Love. He was 18 of 30, 234 yards. It's the 4 touchdowns right there. 2 fourth down touchdowns. Game-changing touchdowns. Other than that, he was okay. Complete a little bit over 50% of your passes. And Jared Goff, the one who gets all of the flack half the time, where I'm seeing people, you need to replace Goff. He was 20 for 26, 256, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Incredibly efficient. He didn't turn the ball over. It's the furthest from Jared Goff's fault. He actually played good in the game. Gibbs, he only had 68 yards, but he still impacted the game. Jameson Williams, 7 catches, 144. It's like, it is what it is, man. The Jacobs was okay in the game, 17 carries for 83 yards, but still, you're not The story of the game is those fourth down calls. It's the fourth downs. And there you go. You're like, I mean, you laugh at that, Steve, but I mean, gosh, you got your guy out there not even
Of
hiding
course, I
it.
got it right. What do you think, Pete? Yeah, I was calling timeout.
Yeah, he doesn't even hide it. I mean, you're talking about now. Let's not like overblow that. Now that would have been that was on third down where that timeout happened, and they ended up scoring a touchdown on the next play because they got the timeout, right? But if that penalty would have went through and they would have went back 5 yards, they probably would have kicked the field goal at 4th and 7. I don't think they would have went for it on 4th and goal from the 7-yard line. So that timeout cost the Lions 4 points. So in the grand scheme, you're not talking about that. But and the other call that was made on the 4th down was it a catch or was it not a catch? I'm not going to cry about that catch all that much because I think that you could have called it a catch. I also thought that you could have called it not a catch. It was a huge call or no call. But in my opinion, maybe just because I'm a Homer Lions fan, I don't think they should have called it a catch. And I'll tell you the reason why, because when you look at the catch, and I'll bring it up here so you guys can see it. I mean, you guys can say it yourself. I'm not going to say we got screwed by the refs, but they didn't help us. So here's the catch. So if you're looking at that, I mean, the issue that I have with them calling it a catch is the defender made a play on the ball. Now, in the NFL, you have to get 2 feet down and you have to be able to survive the sideline. And when the defender came across and hit the ball, it forced the wide receiver to readjust the ball, which means that first foot shouldn't have counted, and he did not get 2 feet in. That's my opinion. I think that's the opinion of a lot of the people that are out there. And I'll let you look at it again. You can decide for yourself. So you can see the ball clearly move right there when he turned when the defender comes across the ball. And honestly, that's the defender making a play on the ball, and the ball moved. I mean, there's no question that the ball moved. He had to readjust the ball, and then he patted the ball a couple of times on the way down. So, in my opinion, it shouldn't have been called a catch. But the thing is you can also make the argument. I mean, for whatever reason that he was just allowed to move the ball around, and you can make that at the discretion. You can call that a catch too. I'm not gonna. I'm that one doesn't bother me as much as the timeout does, but that one was way more impactful of a play. So you definitely can call that a catch, but you also can call that not a catch. So, but I say it looked like a catch to you. So you think that the ball should be able to move after the person has as being called control? I mean, he caught the ball. There's no doubt, but you have to survive the sidelines, and you can clearly see that the ball moves after the defender crosses it. Look at it again. Hand comes off the ball. When the defender came across, he had to readjust the ball. Now, they were saying that was within him having control. He was maintaining control, but that ball moved after the defender came up. The defender made a play on the ball, which made the ball move, which should have made his first step not count. But that's not the way that they saw it. But the more impact, that was the more impactful one. But the one that I'm more mad about is the fact that he was able to call a timeout. Now that one's even admitted. I mean, Matt LaFleur just admitted it right there. Winking. He knows that he got away with that. It was a false start. There's absolutely no reason that he would have called a timeout with 4 seconds left on the clock, unless that's why you call a timeout. If you can't draw him offside, you do it at the last second. There's no reason to do it at 5 seconds. He bullshitted the referee, and the referee bought it. He clearly didn't get the timeout in time. And timeout is not something that you're allowed to just go, hey, timeout, timeout. You have to signal timeout. They have to see you signal timeout. It's not an audible thing, but if you want to try to sell me that the jet engine of Ford Field, that a referee was able to hear Matt LaFleur yelling timeout from across the way. But it doesn't matter. He admitted that, he might have gotten away with that. And that one makes the NFL look worse than, a decision call on a catch. Because you can definitely call that a catch. He had control of the ball at the beginning, and he took it all the way down to the ground. But you can't expect Detroit Lion fans, after going through the Calvin Johnson not being a catch, that you call that a catch. You can't tell that to a Detroit fan. You're not going to get any Detroit fans that aren't going to complain about that. And Steve says he's more ticked off about the timeout. But the bottom line is, there were other plays in there. So let's go through the fourth down plays and let's look at those. All of them, not just that one. I have all 4 of them on here. That was just the first one. Yeah, that was the one that was after. That was the one that was after. This one is the one that's at the end. Right there. That sealed the game. Right there. So that was the one that sealed it at the end. And as you can see, because I know that there's a lot of people that, they want to give Dan Campbell a hard time on getting those 4th downs. One of those 4th downs was Jared Goff throwing a ball to Jameson Williams, and he just dropped it. And here's the part where the villain's going to give it to you straight right here, because Steve brings up a valid point right here. And I'd even put this in my post during the game where I was bitching about the referees. This was a makeup call. Steve right here was talking about a makeup call right here that would have given them a first down. We ended up getting the ball back, and that was a PI, a blatant PI on Amik Robertson that should have been called, that wasn't called. And this is why I'm not going to give the referees that hard of a time on a call that I didn't think was a catch. I don't think that that was a catch, but I also know that that was a PI. He grabbed his arm and he got away with it. I'm not going to sit up here and bitch about the referees one-sided. So, Steve, you are absolutely right. I am acknowledging that. That was a makeup call in there, and we got one back. So you were still one up with the timeout. So that one might have cost us 4 points. So it don't matter. And right here, Frank says the team is shit. This is the difference right here. This is the difference. I showed you the 5 plays that decided the game. You make any one of those plays, the 0 for 2 on your own 4th down, you catch the ball right there. The only one, like Jameson, you should have caught the ball. I mean, maybe you blame Jared Goff for throwing a bad ball in there, but still, it hit his hands. You might have even taken that one in there to score. You just got to take care of your business on those big plays. And right there, the difference between being a good team, right, and being 8-4 instead of 7-5 is making one of those 5 plays that I just showed you. I mean, on that same play where we're bitching about that being a catch or not being a catch, Brian Branch slowed up on the play. It looked like he had him blanket cover. For some reason, he stopped. What's up with that? What's up with Brian Branch stopping when he probably could have made a play on the ball himself? Honestly, Jordan Love threw that ball into double coverage. I have no idea why Brian Branch stopped on that. So, the Bears just went up. They're up 17-9 right now. So it looks like the Bears are going to beat the Eagles. Worst case scenario for the Lions. They need the Eagles to beat the Bears here. That's going to put them in another trick bag right here. I mean, the more and more those guys separate out at the top, then you're depending on the Packers, which, I've kind of taken the division. And I mean, I don't think that the Lions can win the division. And if the Bears end up finishing this game out, and that's going to make it hard right there. And this is the type of doom and gloom stuff here that I don't like right here. Ragnow should wait till next year if he wants to come back. I'm so glad our team isn't as soft as the fans are. What a soft take that is. You're 7-5. You're 7-5. There's not there the entire rest of the season is in front of you. And you think Frank Ragnow, getting a Pro Bowl, probably Hall of Fame center back in the middle of this offense isn't going to help? The Lions are getting destroyed in the middle right now. You don't think Frank Ragnow would help out Tate Ratledge? I mean, I'm concerned about Amon-Ra St. Brown. I'm glad that his ankle sprain isn't all that serious. The Lions can still come out of this. And if they don't, they don't. Oh my God. We've had 30 years of losing, guys. This isn't anything new. I mean, nobody deserves to be great on their team. It's back to more of the same, right? Everybody wants to say same old Lions, whatever. I mean, if the Lions don't win, how am I supposed to defend it? How am I supposed to be like sitting up here and not going back into post-traumatic same old Lions? So I gotta feel like they got a backbone and that they could come back and win. It's really funny to me, and I am smoking a little bit tonight. It's been a long weekend. But, I understand where everybody is frustrated, but I don't understand why somebody would be frustrated at me for being positive and saying that the Super Bowl window is not closed. To think that we could come back and end up doing something nice. To think that this team couldn't get hot by the end of the season. Like the spark of having Frank Ragnow come back couldn't spark the offense and inspire better play and have the three phases hitting. I mean, you act like we got blown out in this game. It was a 7-point, possession game that took a 4th down play to end the game against the Green Bay Packers, and the Green Bay Packers are absolutely Super Bowl contenders. You lost 2 weeks prior to that to the Philadelphia Eagles, who are Super Bowl contenders. But I guess, maybe they're not Super Bowl contenders because they're losing a game right now. So, yeah, stopping CD and Pickens isn't going to be easy. Yeah, you got to beat hard teams, Steve. Like, you guys got out of Detroit with a win. Congratulations. You got out of Detroit with a win. But if you want to go and you want to make the playoffs and you want to do something special in the playoffs, I don't give a shit about how easy it is or not easy. You get paid to play football, so go play football and win games. You just spent $1 billion on your franchise. So I don't know why they keep losing. And Dan Campbell goes for it on 4th down. And you know what? He should have converted on it. I want him to kick field goals too. But when he gets those 4th downs, it definitely helps. It definitely helps when you get those 4th downs. That's the thing, is if you're going to do them, you got to get them. You got to get them. Let's cut through the noise, cut straight to the truth. I ain't talking refs. Let's not talk injury, play calling, execute, whatever you want. The bottom line is, and this is the simplest way to put it. Green Bay was 3 for 3 on 4th down. Green Bay was 3 for 3 on 4th down. Detroit was 0 for 2. They were perfect on 4th down, but yet Dan's too aggressive. But we lost the game because they were aggressive and did it, and they were successful at being aggressive. They played our game and beat us at our game. So am I going to look at that loss and go, oh my gosh, there's no way. You're in the game. You flip one of those plays, just one. And then I'm sitting on here talking Victory Friday. Do the Lions suck? No, they don't suck. They lost Amon-Ra St. Brown. 2/3 of their offensive line. And they still put up 250 passing yards. I mean, that's not that bad. And this is supposed to be, the greatest defense ever. They got Reggie White on their team. Reggie White 2.0. I like how see Steve is one of these Packer fans, and this speaks to the royalty of you. Like, it doesn't matter that there's 150 other people that are watching the show right now, but I'm yelling at you, Steve. I have no reason to be frustrated at all getting swept by the Packers. I mean, I'm doing the best to stand up here and not lose my shit. But I'm also not going to go and second guess everything because Green Bay beat me by a one possession deal where they were 3 for 3 on fourth down and 0 for 2 and we were 0 for 2. I mean, everything else in between, you're just, like I say, you're playing like tennis. You're just volleying possessions back and forth. And then you get into those big moments. And in last game, there were 5 of them. And in those 5 moments, you were 0 for 5. You were 0 for 5 in the big moments. That's it. Everything else, I mean, it was good kung fu the whole way. Green Bay came out hot at the beginning, looked all dominant on the defense, and then J-Mo ended up changing the energy, fighting back a little bit, and then we got into a little kung fu battle. It was 17-14 at the half. Green Bay comes out hot again, gets another fourth down touchdown, and the Lions had a chance at the end. They could have got off the field. They could have got the ball at midfield if they would have capitalized on the one fourth down at the end of the game. Green Bay deserves credit for executing in the big moments, whether you want to call catches or not catches, but they executed the plays. I showed you all the fourth down plays. Just good executed plays. And there was a defender right there on that fourth down play to end the game. Sometimes the other team just makes the play. They had the right defense. They had the guy right there. They just made the play. Fourth down and 3. I mean, think about what would have happened if any one of those 5 fourth downs were switched in the other way. They get the timeout and then, make them kick the field goal. Changes the whole trajectory of the game. So, and I'm sure that Dan Campbell's doing this, but if it's me, I tell everybody not to, lose poise and don't lose hope because you're not that far off. You almost won that game. That would have been a huge. I mean, could you imagine what would have happened in Ford Field if they wouldn't have got that fourth down? And then the Lions would have had the ball at midfield with 1:50 left, going down to win the game. And when I say win the game, is you weren't going to overtime in that, Steve. They wouldn't have got that. I mean, that's how close the game was. I'm not trying to make excuses or say anything. I'm just saying that the game was close. It's a good game. We came out on the back end of it. Goff was 20 for 26, man. Against that good defense. With all that pressure. 20 for 26, 2 TDs, 0 picks. Jameson Williams had a breakout game. I guess that's what happens when you target him, more than 10 times in a game. You got Frank Ragnow coming back. You got to win these games, man. You got to win 4 out of 5 games. You got to win again. You have to win a game that the world doesn't think you can win. You want to change the perception, Lions? Because I'm still on your side. I think you can do it. You got to win a couple games that people don't think you're going to win. You win these next 2 games. If you beat Dallas and you upset the Rams, then you'll get everybody back on your side again. But we could also be sitting here in 2 weeks and the Lions could be 7-7 on the outside looking in. So the Bears they're up 24-9 with 3 minutes left, and it looks like yep. Looks like the Eagles got goal to go. See, the Lions defense just couldn't and can't stop anyone when it's needed. If they don't do something to help the defensive line and get some big doggone pressure on the QB, then they aren't going anywhere. The Lions almost won the game. I love my Lions, but the season has been really difficult to watch. But damn. Yeah, the Lions almost won the game. They get that 4th down stop. You're right. They gotta show up on those big plays. They get that 4th down stop. They would have had the ball at the 50-yard line. And they would have driven down the field to try to score a touchdown. And they were moving the ball against Green Bay in the second half. So, yeah, and they wouldn't have went for overtime. They wouldn't have went and tried to get a touchdown and kick the extra point for overtime. They would have went for 2. So, yes, I believe they had a chance to win, but they got them. They were 0 for 5 on 4th down because Green Bay was 3 for 3. You just got to any one of those. You stop any one of those, and we're talking a win today. The game was closer. So, yeah, so it looks like the Bears are they're gonna beat the Eagles. And the Lions are in a bad spot where they got to depend on some other people to fall off. And it sucks that it's the Bears that win because the Lions actually have a tiebreaker on the Bears because they would have them in the last week. But it looks like the Bears are trying to get that 1 seed. Because I'm telling you, this was the win that they need. This was the win that they needed. They're going to beat a good team. That should make the Green Bay Packer fan a little bit more nervous, knowing that the Bears just beat a team that neither one of us could beat. So, yeah, so I'm not gonna put much blame on anything. You got the guys, you got the talent. You got to make those big plays. You had 5 opportunities. Everything else is just a volley. I mean, it's chess. But what else we got in here? Yep. Lions are on the outside looking in right now. All they got to do is win games. And if they lose any of the games, then we're just going to be out here talking more of the same. Maybe we'll start talking draft. Maybe I'll start talking about the Pistons. But nope, you got to step up on 4th down. You got to step up on 4th down. So, all right. I did my duty. I came out here. I showed my face. I took my medicine right there. I mean, it's hard enough to deal with trolls, but now I know that the whole fan base is turning on the team too. So that part sucks. So that's going to conclude the show right here. The Lion Villain Report. The villain took his medicine. The Green Bay Packers sweep the Lions. So, brought to you by Fanatics. Looks like the Bears are going to win. So, go get a Bears jersey. Use the code. Save up to 25% off of your order. It's faith, family, then football in that order. Use football. Don't let football use you. Snap out of it. Hopefully faster than me. God bless you guys. May the Lord bless you. May the Lord keep you. May the Lord shine his face upon you until we meet again in Jesus' name. Amen. See you in the next one, everybody. Peace out.
Of course they got it right. What do you think, Pete? Yeah, I was calling timeout.